It's my honor to present this year's Safe Haven Award to someone whose leadership has inspired me, the former Executive Director of Immigration Equality, Rachel Tiven. Now, if and when an accurate history of the LGBT movement is written, and these days that's an iffy proposition, such a history will cite Rachel Tiven as one of the finest and most effective leaders this movement had. Rachel became Executive Director of Immigration Equality in 2005, taking the helm of an organization that was already doing great work, and one of its founders, when it was called the unwieldy name of the Lesbian and Gay Immigration Rights Task Force, I think, is here. Noemi Maslia. Noemi, thank you. She took the helm of this great organization doing great work at a time when immigration issues were neither on the agenda of the LGBT movement nor on the agenda of the immigrant rights movement. And her leadership and positioning of immigration equality helped transform both of those movements. Rachel catalyzed the growth of immigration equality. She increased funding. She hired and recruited a brilliant staff. She built a great board, that all of which still remain in place. She opened a DC policy office to facilitate advocacy, expanded this group's engagement with major law firms around the country. And as a result of her efforts, Immigration Equality's budget is nearly $3 million. Its staff now numbers 21. It responded to more than 7,700 requests for help last year. And it represents hundreds of people each year. You'll find the data in your program. Under her leadership, Immigration Equality led the policy fight that ended the HIV travel and immigration ban, which barred anyone living with HIV from entering the US, even as a tourist, even for a day. Under her leadership, asylum has become an option and reality for hundreds of people fleeing violence, torture, and persecution around the world. Under her leadership, and as part of the broader marriage equality struggle, led by people in this room like Evan Wolfson and Andrew Sullivan, among others, Immigration Equality achieved the joyful experience of securing green cards for binational families and couples after the Windsor victory. Now, these achievements on their own would be enough to warrant our celebration of her impact as a leader. But they don't begin to capture the tenacity, the creativity, the intellect, the ethical judgment, and the dedication that she demonstrated, qualities that I respect in your leadership, Rachel. It takes perseverance and guts to run an LGBT organization. Our friends have to be shown how anti-gay, anti-trans prejudice operates. The nasty untruths and desperation of our opponents always creates horrible roadblocks to everything. And our own community's wildly pluralist, cantankerous, and demanding nature makes that job quite tense. That Rachel worked so successfully for 9 years, which is about 105 in lesbian years, attests to her resilience. You know, throughout her tenure, she reached out to many people, I'm sure around this room, seeking a sounding board, asking for advice, or just asking for support. And I remember one of our conversations several years ago. She was under intense pressure from progressive allies and progressive funders to withdraw the demand for recognition of binational couples in the comprehensive immigration reform battle. Groups opposed to marriage equality left that coalition over this very issue. Others were grousing that the queers were tearing the coalition apart. It was tense and unpleasant, but Rachel held her and our community's ground. She insisted and persisted, and ultimately we prevailed on relationship recognition, but the struggle for comprehensive immigration reform must still be finished, and we should be joining it. And Rachel, like all effective leaders, is an educator. She schooled a lot of people on the needs and concerns of our communities. The educator role demands a keen intellectual capacity, and as they say in Boston, Rachel is wicked smart. Wicked smart. She has a strategic mind, and she thinks ahead of the present situation. Finally, I think this award recognizes another quality Rachel brings to leadership, the quality of principled and ethical judgment. You know, compromise is supposed to be the fuel of progress, but for those who are less powerful in any situation, compromise often means erasure. As a feminist, Rachel ensured that no part of the LGBT immigrant community was neglected or erased in immigration equality's work, including those who are undocumented, which the Williams Institute estimates at more than 270,000 LGBT people, those LGBT people in detention who are experiencing violence and medical deprivations and mistreatment, those seeking asylum, and those without resources who simply need access to counsel. The incredible news is that Rachel Tiven will continue to be a leader in the immigration rights movement in her new job. Starting in July, she will become the executive director of the Immigrant Justice Corps, the country's first fellowship program dedicated to meeting the need for high-quality legal assistance for immigrants seeking citizenship and fighting deportation. From this platform, I know she will continue to urge all of us not to walk away from the immigration issues facing this country and the world, and to continue to support the incredible, ongoing, and urgently needed work of this organization. It's been an honor working with you, Rachel. Please join me, the board and the staff of Immigration Equality, in thanking Rachel Tiven for her outstanding leadership.